Good morning. 528 is here with an update to the Goon. 2.5 years, and they've added a whole millimeter to it. Look at this. Goon 25 coming up on VapeAM, episode 201. It's VapeAM, the 528 custom Goon 25. The original one was awesome. Now we're gonna compare it today. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great morning. Here's my Goon 25. Squonking it up on my iJoy Capo 216. Look at that. 528's come out with an update to the Goon. We're going to open up this package, go over the whole thing. I'll tell you what's different and updated. They've had the Goon, the original one, which we did here in March of 2016. I can't believe it's been 2.5 years and we did that. And then they had the LP, which was the small one, a little bit later than a Goon 1.5, and which was a pretty big update to the way the deck worked. Really, actually, it wasn't a big update. It was just the airflow changed into a dual Cyclops, and the deck changed just a little bit. And this one, we're back to the original airflow and what made the original Goon great, which I think is cool. This is a live show. This is VapeAM, which is 201 episodes in. That's too long to turn around. 2.5 years. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. You're in All World Vaping Headquarters. We're live twice a week, every Wednesday and every Saturday, and we talk about vaping. That's what we do. We review stuff and we build stuff. And today, we're going to build this 528 Goon 25. Put some Texas Tough Juicy wicks in it, which is Tough Wicks now. Can't remember that name. And I want to say good morning to everybody. That's what I'm being impatient about. I want to say good morning to everybody in the live chat. James, Gary, Dave, and Robbie, Michaela, everybody. Love all y'all. Hope y'all are having a great morning. Like I said, this is a live show. And we do this out of the goodness of our hearts because we love vaping and quitting smoking and technology. And we love community. So 528 is on a roll here with their war against packaging. They have the worst packaging anywhere. Anyway, so it's like an old Chivas bag. Mine was ripped up in here, but it does the job. And the RDA came as you see it here, but not built, and in a package. And they did include an Allen key, some extra Phillips screws, if you're into that thing. I like the Allen ones that are on it. And O-rings and a squonk pin, which I've already replaced. This is a regular 510. You do have to take out the 510 and put in the squonk pin if you want to squonk. And it came in a little baggie like this. It came with a very cheap little drip tip, which was just a little tiny black drip tip. I don't even have it on the desk, but it was very cheap. Here it is. Not a super impressive thing, but it did come with a drip tip, I guess. I have since put on a slightly cooler looking one. And the atomizer itself, I'm going to bring up the focus here so we can see it a little bit better altogether. Grab the focus bar. Bring it up here. Now this has got my build on it. So what we're going to do is take it off, put a new build on there and talk about it. It's easy to get the positive and negative pins out. You just take out either this Phillips head screw or that Allen. And this is where the squonking action happens. It uses this 1.5 millimeter Allen key. 1.5. It's got a dual layer top. This time, the top has got a little bit of a Ultim ring. And those of you who hate Ultim won't love this, but it isn't visible. I just wiped it off a little bit. I think it's pretty cool. It does help with the outside not getting quite as hot. This thing does transfer heat down, but it's got the curved top for flavor. This thing still has good flavor in it. No complaints. This is the actual deck, which has got wider Allen in it now. You see those posts are now big blocks with the screws are set down inside there, which is pretty nice. Let me set this thing down on here and we shall take off. That's the cap. which is a pretty plain thing. I like how they've gone back to the original triple dot. It's pretty good. This thing doesn't have a single coil option anymore, but I'm okay with that myself. Oh, I'm sorry, what am I saying? It does have a single coil option, and I'm okay with that. All you have to do is use the top cap to close off one of the two airflows. So forgive me there, I stand corrected. I forgot about that. I knew that, I just forgot. This gives you dual and single airflow. This is simple here, it's good. Goon logo. They were cutting costs by making this slightly cheaper out of the stainless steel. I like the stainless steel. My old one is copper, and of course it's always tarnished. I'll show you guys some measurement differences. This one is shorter than the original Goon and slightly larger. 1 millimeter larger and about 1 millimeter shorter, which is exactly a better measurement. Now it measures more like the Cheetah 2 inside there, which is a really good thing. That is the deck with the new more substantial clamps. I'm not wild about clamp decks still, as you guys know. I just am not super wild about them, but I must say these are fine. The Goon makes up for it a little bit on just flavor. I have these in here real tight. I'm going to lower this focus down back to the table here in a second, but we're going to pull these out, because why not? And then we'll put in some better coils from our friend, Sub-Ohm Sapper, who sent us some. There is the actual deck. They aren't on springs, just gravity. And the fact that they're very, very large clearance, Goon, means that they're very easy to build on. Mine is number 003919. So 3919 Goon. Hey Mark. Hey Weird Will. Hey Charles Seal. Nice to see y'all. If you're just joining us, I'm Eli Juicy Jones. This is VapeAM on Orbital Vaping Headquarters here, and we're doing the Goon 25 today, which is the new 25 millimeter Goon. And I'm just showing you the packaging. I took my old build out of it. Now we're going to put a new build down onto it. No, I'm not in it. We'll go back down here. We have the squonking enabled. Focus back down on there. I should be able to get a build in here pretty easy with you guys watching. So it's pretty large right there. I'm going to take some of these fuse coils from our friend Sub-Ohm Sapper, which say they're going to come out to 0.16, meaning they'll come out to 0.02, which is how it always works for me for some reason. I don't know why I'm always seeming to get ridiculously low ratings out of coils people send me, but I'm very excited about these. So excited I keep hitting the camera. Very excited. These are fused Claptons, nichrome 80 on the inside, 26 gauge, 36 gauge nichrome 80 on the outside. And they're 3 millimeters, which is what I wanted. I had 2.5 millimeters in here, and I recommend always that you put 3 millimeter coils in large RDAs like this. Putting 2.5 millimeter ones in is pretty torturous to wick them, and they don't work that great. I'm just using my dental tool to get kind of an idea of what's going on here. They don't mind being pulled up and manipulated a little bit. They stay on their threads just a tiny bit, as you can see, but still they're going to fall down. So I'm going to take my tool, sitting over here, my little tool. I have the 2.5 millimeter bit on here, which isn't the right one. I'm just going to dry fit these. I love these coils because these are a little bit narrower than my last ones. You can fit absolutely astonishingly large coils into this Goon if you want to. My comparison of the Cheetah 2 is pretty apt. It has that much space in it. Cheetah 2 had a little bit of a contraption to try to spring the coils, and this one doesn't have that. But does it need it? I'm not sure. So I'm just looking to see about the lengths I'm going to use there. That looks just about right. And I'll just take these out and I'll cut them. I'm going to use my coil cut base to try to figure out exactly how much base I'm taking off of those. It looks like the smallest one, well, that's not the smallest one. That one's 6 millimeters. That was one of the larger ones. So I'm going to go to the 3.8. That was 4.5, sorry. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Even that one would be taken off quite a bit. So I am going to use that one though. And they're nichrome. They're going to stretch a little bit. I'm trying to figure out for y'all which of these coil cut base sizes we're going to use. In fact, I might cut these a little bit long here, just to be paranoid. I got a note from the chat there that the countersunk screws are cool, and I totally agree with that. They are cool. If you'll notice, what I did was I cut these at an angle, and that gives me just a little bit more length because it pulls them out kind of a consistent length. Oops, that one just fell. Okay, so now I'm going to start cramming. Cram them. It's easier, with just like with the original Goon. If you tilt it to begin with, and then smash something down inside there, hold it with your thumb, and then come back on the other side. I missed one of them there. I will be able to get the other one in. And see, this is what I don't like about clamp techs. It's certainly not horrible. You see, I got one side in. And I'm going to just grab this one and we'll get the other side in as soon as I get that thing up. There we go. But you do have to worry about this. So for some people, maybe too annoying. For me, not too bad. As you can see there, our second side came out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of these and I'm just going to space these coils. What are we doing? Why didn't we just space them, Juicy? And to do that, all we do is pull on them just a little bit. They're nichrome. Remember what I said about nichrome being stretchier than kanthal. That is very nice. And here we go. We'll just give that a little stretch. And there we go. Now we have a lot more space. I've already cut the lead lengths. Oops, I'm going to put my finger on that. I'm going to pull those open. And now we're going to cram using cram technique. I like cramming. Cram tech. There. We've achieved. We have achieved. And so those of you who don't want to do stuff like this, avoid these. Lol. It's certainly not too much work. It's certainly not terrible. Not undoable. Just slightly more work than I usually want to do. I'm going to compare this to the Cali and the Twisted Messes here in a second, and I'll show you the decks. And in my opinion, this thing's still inferior to the Cali. As you can see, I'm just tightening all four of these just lightly. I'm not trying to cram them down, especially because this is nichrome. I'm just getting them to the point where I can move them a little. In fact, that one's so loose, it just came out, which is fine. Just moving them. I'm giving them quite a bit more torque there. Torque is rotational strength. Those of you guys who've always wondered what that word means. Torque is rotational power. Okay. Now, we're going to get a reading on this. We're at about 0.16. Going to get at about 60 watts. We're giving it little pulses. Just little gentle pulses. Like one of them's a little bit more ornery than the other one. By quite a bit. Hey, Dylan. Yeah, you know, Dylan is saying that he's got the original Cali and he's still tempted to get the master kit. I'm kind of in agreement with you. Like I said, I still think that the Cali is the best RDA. Easiest to build, the fastest. Really, really great. That's just my opinion. This RDA hasn't changed that opinion at all. And those are hot and they're beautiful. So I'm going to just grab this one and move it in just a little bit. I'm trying to shorten that lead. I love the Allen keys that this thing uses. Absolutely. I still think that I prefer velocity decks or twisted messes style decks where every single lead has its own little place to go. Something about that displeases me all the time. So that's one of the reasons why I don't prefer this. I still do think that the Goon deserves its place near the top of the heap of these RDAs. In this case especially, they've given you an incredibly good platform for putting big coils in and having large airflow. And this design has proven that over time. And this update adds really big O-rings to it, which make it really, really easy to actually use this thing and take the lid off and adjust the airflow. I mean, we really didn't have that much of that in the very first design. This one, those O-rings, I cannot stress how a little bit more room on the deck and fatter O-rings, it's only a difference of 1 millimeter total, make a really large difference in just every single day, taking the lid off and putting it back down, taking it off, putting it back down, juicing it up and whatever. It really makes a big difference. And I'm such a big fan of the larger size. Just for that, in this case. And I think it works great. Let's see, we're doing a little bit better. Yeah. There we go. Much better. So as you can see, 3 millimeter coils work in here so easily. Gary says you ordered one of these hex driver kits. I absolutely love these. This is the 1.5 millimeter. These are by Bondus. This is the 1.5 millimeter size I'm using on this thing. For those of you who are wondering. Here's my Goon. Let's put some Texas Tough in here. But I'm going to let it cool for just a second. And let's take a look at my Goon. The original one. And we'll make some comparisons. First of all, here's our caliper. And it doesn't matter what size the drip sips are. This thing is 24.66 millimeters tall and just about 24 millimeters wide at the widest point. Sorry if I'm getting this wrong here. I just gotta. 23.91. At various times I've gotten exactly 24 here. So it's 24. I'll reset this. By about 24 and a half. And the new one, once we put it all together, and take the O-ring off. I mean, I'm sorry, take the drip tip off. Comes in at 22, not quite 23 millimeters high. So about 3 millimeters shorter, not 1 like I was saying. It's really nice that it's shorter. It really doesn't need to be as tall as it did. And 25 millimeters. So it's about exactly 1 millimeter bigger and just a little over 3 millimeters higher. 22. 0.7. 24.5. So not quite 2 millimeters taller. And it's almost the perfect size now. I love this new size. I think it works perfectly. Down on the actual deck, I'll show you. Sorry if I'm boring you guys to death. It's now no longer gold plated, but these countersunk screws work so much better when you're doing the trapping. And it's shorter and has bigger O-rings. I think this is actually a little bit shorter on the outside. And the O-rings are much larger. Absolutely love the O-rings. Still love my original Goon. I let it get all nasty. Yes, I do. I just cleaned it up this morning. I use it all the time. Believe it or not, it was just completely wicked up. And I put it in the ultrasonic. So this is cooled down now. Let's put some 3 millimeter cotton in here. I'll show you guys where the squonking comes out. It's right out of the middle. I sort of wish it came out the top, but can't have everything. You can't have everything you want, Juicy. Just close to it. See what we can do here. I'm gonna want to do this. But we always try. Oh, it is working perfectly. Okay. I'm using Juicy Wicks. Of course. You guys know I love this stuff. From Tough Wicks. And we'll use our crane scissors. Just trimming away some excess stuff on one side. We'll set this. Throw away these little tiny pieces of metal. Always clean as you go. So much easier. Gonna get rid of yesterday's wicks and coils. Those were just bad ones. These are made by our good friend Rob. Sobom Sampar on Instagram. Follow him. Just gonna set those right down inside there. On the one side just to be a little bit longer than it was. There we go. Now we're going to cut the other side. Always cut a little bit long, because you can trim down later. You don't need tons and tons of extra cotton in this atomizer, but you need to fill the floor up so they're touching. Michelangelo and his father down there, fingers caught in the heavenly embrace of wicking your cotton for you. And making sure your e-liquid gets there correctly. So this is going to work great. Right now, in here, what is it? Yum. This is delicious Amour from Van Gogh Vapes. I only have 2 sitting on my desk. It's either Amour or it's my beautiful purple I have to smell this one. Oh, no. It's the guava latizza. All right. These are both extremely pungent. One is raspberry yogurt and one is guava vanilla cake. Right. I'll let that sit there. I'm squawking up the bottom. Just putting some more e-liquid in there. How many of y'all have the original Goon or the 1.5 or an LP? I'm just curious. I skipped the 1.5 because I didn't feel like it was a major update. Really, the O-rings were the big thing for me. I didn't need more airflow out of the Goon, so it wasn't really for me. This thing is working great. This cotton absorbs enormous amounts of e-liquid. It is crazy how much e-liquid this absorbs. Smells so good. And there we have it. Squonking. Now we're going to vape it. You can close the airflow down real low on this build at 0.17, or we can open it up and go to about 80 watts and open the air to about halfway, which is what I'm going to do. It's great. The flavor is amazing on the Goon. They didn't screw it up. One of the things, I just like it. I like that they made it better and they didn't really screw up the formula. They went back to the original airflow, which I thought was perfectly sufficient. So now I can dial it down a little bit better. I'm enjoying a delicious cup of tea. I hope you have coffee or tea or something yourself. And so I'm kind of a big fan of this thing. I think that they've lowered the price, which I believe they're about $55 now. I think we paid $65 or $70 for our original Goons. But I still think that the Cali is my preferred RDA, although this one is still great. This little guy is still my go-to, easiest to build on, great flavor, so many options, 810 adapter now available. It's in the kit that you get so much stuff, so many different things, plus this is the easiest thing to build ever, and it squonks like a masterpiece. This is a great RDA with great flavor. I can't tell you how well this vapes. This has the same kind of characteristic that the Twisted Messes has, and the Cali has, that it just vapes great. When you vape it, you're going to go, yes, I love this. So don't get into a contest about which one is better, because all of them are great at the very, very highest end. It's just that there's only a few up there, and my preference is the Cali. So is this great? Yeah. If I lost it, would I replace it? I might not, because I've got a Cali, but I can tell you that I certainly would replace the Cali if I lost it. In an instant, I would replace that thing. In fact, I thought that I had lost it on vacation, and I panicked before the show here, ran around, and I found it, and I was like, yeah. So is the flavor great on the Goon 25? Oh, yeah, definitely. Is the form factor good? Is it easy to use? Absolutely. Are you happy you bought it if you did? Yeah, I think you are. No question. And this is going to stay in my rotation because it's extremely easy to use, easier to clean than my original one because I bought it in copper. That's not 528's fault. And it's just good. In fact, I'm going to lower the air back down even a little more and raise the wattage up to 80. I was at 75. Absolutely delicious. Squonk's great. Vape's great. It's a little bit on the weepy side because of how the stainless steel construction is these days and the O-rings, and I am not complaining. Part of that comes from opening and closing it because it's a squonker. It's not a big problem. But I love this thing. Pick one up. I'm not sure where they're selling them yet. You can get them on 528's own site, but they're sold out of them already. And so these things will start appearing pretty soon. You should be able to get them for about $55. You guys tell me what you guys think about this. Everybody, tell me. I want to hear everything. I hope all y'all are having a great day. I have a tea up here. You'll notice all the entire show I've had a T. No idea what that is. And it's VapeAM. I'm Eli Juicy Jones. We're going to go to the Hangout section. We're going to compare these a little bit more closely on the deck here, on the desk, to the other versions and some of the other decks. And I might rebook them again. I might build my Cali. Y'all stick around if you want to do that. If not, thanks for watching this thing. Click like and subscribe over here, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Fat cloudage. Hello, 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 hello. Hangout time. Let us hang out, friends. How are you? Leighton, nice to see you. Pretoria and Dave Vape, Cliff. Everyone, good morning. It is wonderful to see you. Yes, I like this thing. It's not my favorite thing, but of my top shelf RDAs, it's still hanging there. The Goon is still, I think, providing a good RDA for the money. For the amount of money, now you get a squonk pin. Now you get better O-rings. The price is slightly lower, and the build quality is slightly less than it used to be, in my opinion. But still, I'm satisfied that they're doing a pretty good job. Hi, Dane Bentley, and thank you very much, Charles Steele. I appreciate that. These coils from Rob don't hurt. They're really good. I like this better than my profile. Easier to build. I like it better than my Twisted Messes, although the Twisted Messes has really good flavor too. It's just that the airflow is kind of wonky on the Twisted Messes. Let's get down here and look at this. The airflow in the Twisted Messes is such that when you want to adjust it, you have to, I'm going to use my vape nut stand. When you want to adjust it, you have to physically unscrew this whole thing. And when you get it where you want, you have to screw the whole thing down. So it involves some mess and some disassembling this thing. Like if I want to do this, I have to go and unscrew this whole thing, which inevitably has some e-liquid in it. Get it where I want, get it finger tight, and then come back with a cloth or a paper towel and grab both ends and really crank it down. If you don't do this, it'll just come off every time you move it. And then get it down on there. And it doesn't want to unscrew all the time when you have it all the way down on there. So, and e-liquid comes out of the bottom right here. So the Twisted Messes has got amazing flavor, but it is not the best of the top shelf RDAs. The Cali again has the simple swimming pool with the postless deck that you just cannot screw up. It's impossible to get this wrong. It also uses the 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench keys. Get in there. And that's basically it. You just stick them down on there, and you can cut them always to the same height, and then drop them down in there and tighten them and bend them. You just drop them in, tighten them, bend them, wick them, and you're done every time. Once you get a build you like, you can put a 7 millimeter single in here if you want, but once you get a build you like, it's really simple. Dane Bentley is saying that there is a new replacement cap for the Twisted Messes 24. I haven't seen that, but I think it looks good. He says that they solve a few of the problems like unscrewing, and they look cool too. The Eclipse cap for the Twisted Messes. For the Twisted Messes, Twisted Messes 24. Nope, haven't seen those. They're great. I tell you that I truly love my Trinity cap that I've got from my .mod .24. You guys know I absolutely love this thing because the airflow suits me. You have to build for it, but I like the .mod because the squonking works really well. You can see it's kind of used here. It sits on my desk and I pull it out and use it occasionally. Depends on what mod I've got, really. Can't use it right now very well because this one is like a 0.1 and that really kind of sucks. On singles, or does it? That is so great. That is so great. I get the message loud and clear too. You guys are saying that there are third-party caps that make some of these problems and things go away, and that is cool. I mean, I'm pro that, obviously. Tell me, does that cap for the Twisted Messes make the flavor still good? Is the flavor still great? Because of course the flavor is absolutely amazing on the Twisted Messes. 24. That's the reason to get it, honestly, is that it just has great flavor. That deck just tastes great. Pretty much never, no matter what you do. Dylan, Carol, and Dane Bentley are basically in utter agreement here. They're saying the same thing in chat. I get it. That's totally cool. Dane says he loved the Trinity cap. The problem he had was some whistling around the round hole cap. He hasn't tried the Cyclops one. I don't have one with the round holes. So that's interesting. I wonder about how that goes. That's cool. And you say the flavor is still good on the Twisted Messes. Okay, even better, in fact, is what you're saying. Hey, there's my brother Chris. Everybody say hi to my brother Chris. Hi, Chris. We just had a live show. I've already done the review portion of the show, and now we're just hanging out, building, and talking about various gear that we like. If you guys want to, just say hi. My brother is the greatest. We're going to go see him later on and hopefully see those dogs. But I got some slideshow action for you. I did a whole hour of that on the show here last week, but that's irrelevant for you. So we're going to go to your house and come over. And we want to go see A Star is Born, Chris. So maybe if you guys want to do that, that'd be cool. And everyone's saying hi. That's great. Yeah, we were just reviewing this thing, which I'll be taking over to Chris's house today. They won't care because they don't smoke these things. They don't vape. But this is the one we reviewed. It was really good. It's a good, clean one. I like it. It's relatively good. It also is not very bad on the underside. You see how some of these can be bad, but it has a really nice intake, outflow there. And it also has a nice shelf on the bottom, like you guys know that I always like, because I like this design because you can press down on it and get them off your mods, which is nice. Always good. And it's easy to line them up. The only thing I would prefer is if they had a little notch where you could just line that up and click and it would never move. That's the new thing. I would love that. Yeah, not nicotine law. This thing is great. It's absolutely great. Yeah, I'm going to be using this thing. Not as much as my Cali, but I definitely will be using it. It looks good. I like it better than my Twisted Messes because it's a little bit less messy. And I want to thank Rob again for these coils because they're fantastic. Really. They are great. Let's get coil porn up and zoom in on them way close. Thank you, Rob. Because they're awesome. It's so succulent. But as you can see, the Texas Tough is holding up great. Cotton's not getting dirty. It's not nasty because, of course, we're using Juicy Wicks from Tough Wicks, which I love these folks. They're so nice to us. They're so great to the fam. And I use this for everything. Absolutely everything. Dan Bentley says he likes the airflow on the drop dead. No, I like the way the drop dead did the notch since you can readjust the airflow to the center coil. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. The sort of notch in the thing is the reason I like the Pro. It's the one thing about the profile that I think they did really, really right. And Watofo gets a lot of credit from me just in this one area because they made it so that, let me just get this thing up. They made it so that you can never get this wrong. Because that little notch right there, they put it on top. And they could have done this also on, where am I on focus? They could have done this on the Goon too. They could have done this on anything. But I love that. Always correct. My problem with the drop itself is that the drop is like a cheese grater and the O-rings are too hard and it's just incredibly difficult to shut. But they had the right idea. Who makes the guava vanilla cake e-liquid? That is my friends over Good Juice Vape, which is GUDJUICE right over there in Bremerton. And I give bottles of this away when I travel. I like to go get a few bottles, and I gave some to Adam when I went to Dallas, and I gave some to Rob and to the Van Gogh Vapes fellows and to Brady when they came to town, because you can get it by calling them on the phone and ordering it. If you drop my name, they'll probably give you a deal. But they're a brick and mortar right out there. I'm sorry you're having buffering, JT. It says the health is good on my thing, and so knock on wood, I hope that it's okay. He's saying that maybe he's having some network problems. Sometimes we do have that, and I never know where it is, whether it's on my end or on the other end. This time, I think it isn't on my end, but who knows? And the problem with the drop too is that the deck is just too tall. It's like way, way up there. Honestly, I could use a, I mean, the, to me, the Cali just gets around this problem by having good O-rings that you can turn. And you can see through most of the lids on the Cali, except for this one. And so it works okay. It doesn't really need a notch, although it would be nice. And they could put a notch on here quite easily anywhere. I mean, look, right? Like, how tough would that be? And on the Goon, it would be nice, but since the O-rings work pretty well, it isn't super necessary. It's nice on the profile, and it'd be nice to have, but mostly the problems to me come with them just trying to make too much out of a deck. Like, just trying to make too much fuss out of the decks. I like the Goon. It was sort of the original good clamp deck, and there aren't many more that I think are worth a darn. Yeah, adjusting the airflow after you close the notch is key. Yeah. So in our minds, when I'm designing my perfect RDA, it's really just a Cali with a tiny notch so the airflow stays here. But the thing about the Cali is that one of the beauties of it is that you can put a single coil in it this way if you want to, and you could put the airflow in it sideways. In fact, you could put the airflow here and put coils in it that way. So you lose a little bit of flexibility. Have I tried the Warrior? No, I have not. I have seen pictures of that in Discord. And by the way, if you're not with us on Discord, join us on Discord. It's really fun. There's a link in the bio down there to that. No, I haven't tried the Warrior, but I'm interested. And I'm interested in the Recurve X too. The guys have been really kind of getting interested in that in Discord lately. Yeah, Dane is pointing out that it's where the positive is on the Cali that makes it a genius atomizer, that the fact that they're split up this way means that you can put coils this way or that way. It's really kind of genius. I mean, this thing is clever. Clever as heck. The positive is this one in the middle, so you can flop it around. This to me is pretty much the end-all be-all of decks. I mean, I guess I could see one that's smaller, that's shorter, but that's about it. The only thing I would do is make it slightly shorter. But I love this thing. My brother is singing I Am the Warrior. Totally. Shooting at the bonds of heartache. Bang, bang. I am the warrior. That Cali 2 Master Kit. I know they should give me a commission on Calis. I've sold so many of those personally. And it's because I really believe in that RDA. I just think that I don't need... It's hard for me to love the Cali like I do and then approach some of these other RDAs that come out, even some of the great ones, with anything but like, well, for the same money, you're getting something really good for the Cali. And, if people only bought one RDA, I'd take it a Cali. But we know that's not how it is. We all collect them and we get updates, and even I do that. So I have, the updated Goon. I wanted it. I got it. I think if you want one, you should get one too. But if you only had to get one, get the Cali. If you're like me and you want to have one of each of the best ones, or some of your favorites out of the best ones, then yeah, I've got a Twisted Message 24, just like my old Twisted Messes. I had a Goon right when they came out, local flavor, designed by a fella here in Seattle, so I got the updated Goon. I've never complained about what y'all buy or anything. And I love how in Discord I get influenced. This came up this morning. I get influenced by you too. It's a two-way street. If you guys are interested in something and maybe I'm not interested in it, if enough people are, talking about it or whatever, then of course, I have feelings too and a heartbeat, and I get interested in that kind of stuff too. Owen said scandal. Scandal. I presume you mean that I can be influenced by other people slightly. Funny. JT Mod needs a new cheap squonk mod, something regulated with a squonk bottle on the front. I tell you, JT, I love this. These are pretty inexpensive. You can get one of these. But I can tell you, if you don't already have the Pulse 80 watt, you'll probably like it. But I tell you, remember, you must clean out the squonk bottle because, as I pointed out many times here, these squonk bottles are not made of silicone. This one is slightly leaking a little bit here. They're made of silicone plus some kind of additive stuff. So there's no word from Vape exactly what is in them or whether they're going to reformulate them. But until they do that. Squonk on the front, not the side. You have good 18650 batteries, so the feed link might be a good option for you if you don't mind a single. You might want a dual. Day2 Mun says you no longer have vape acquisition syndrome. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I don't get super duper pumped about every single new thing. And I probably get criticized for it a little bit because I don't just rush after stuff. But on the other hand, when good stuff comes around, I'm interested. Yeah, Dane Bentley. In fact, it might have been you or other viewers like you who got me interested in the fact that squonking can have additives in the bottles, and these manufacturers aren't always culpable for it. I asked Aspire, and Aspire passed the test, and their bottles, they told me they're pure silicone. Vape, no word. Yeah, the pulse is regulated. It has a pretty good little 80-watt chip, and it's single 2700, 21700. I can't remember if it's both, but I like it. But remember, clean out those squonk bottles every day, every other day. And apparently Cliff says that Milkman now has a good vanilla custard. That's cool. We were talking recently about Milkman and how they've changed the way they formulate their nicotine, and suddenly their juice is good now. Whereas before, for the last 3 years, it's been horrible tasting like cardboard. And we've all said that it's their nicotine just being tasteless and horrible. And that's nice. You're left-handed. Yeah, for me, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, totally. Look at the feed link. Look at the feed link, JT Mun, because it is from Aspire and it's a bypass mod. It's protected. You have good batteries. And because you have good bypass batteries, it's regulated in as much as it's just bypass. It doesn't have a knob, which is going to be a pain in the butt. I've told them they need to make that thing into like a Noisy Cricket regulated one. It'd be cool. Yeah, I wish I could be more helpful. I think you'd like that Vandy Vape 80-watt one, but like I said, be wary. Even as a lefty, though, it might be tough. I sympathize. Okay, so we're about an hour in. It's like 47 minutes into this thing, and that is my golden cutoff time for it being efficient to encode these videos. So I love all you. You guys are great. Thanks for this great discussion. We had a fun time talking about the Goon and about all of our favorite RDAs and some of the new ones like the Warrior and all the other stuff. And yeah, Owen likes his Pulse 80-watt. Remember to rinse it out. I also love mine. I rinse it out every time I use it, all the time. And I just hope you guys are having a great day. Click here, like and subscribe. Make sure you're clicking the little bell icon to get live notifications. We're live twice a week between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific. That is YouTube right here, juicyjones HQ. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter and everything. And I'm going to vape out because you guys are all the best. Thanks again for tuning in. It's great.